You know who loves Izotope? This guy. Everyone here at Ruinous Media can't get enough of Izotope's intuitively designed plugins for audio restoration, mixing, and mastering. This year, make a resolution to yourself to say goodbye to bad audio and hello to super clear, wide, dynamic, clean audio using Izotope RX11 and the new Ozone 12. Master every track's potential with their complete 20-tool suite. Go to izotope.com and use code FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. That's FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. And go to izotope.com. That spelling is izotope.com. I'd like to welcome our newest sponsor, Schecter Guitars. This holiday season, go over to schecterguitars.com and see what high-quality goodies they have waiting there for you. Premium feel and unbeatable price. See why guitarists like Isaac Brock from Modest Mouse, Robert Smith from The Cure, and Ernie C. from Body Count all love Schecter Guitars. A wide variety of styles and builds with high-end components and affordable prices for touring guitarists. Built to last. Go treat yourself and try something new you've always wanted to check out. Schecter Guitars has it all. Hey, what's happening? Before we jump into the show, I wanted to see if you had any music on a hard drive. You have a band, you have a project, and you want to self-release your own music. Well, there's an easy way to do it. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and go get your music up on all the streamers. You keep 100% of your royalties, and you can get 30% off by using this code. It's a great, easy way to get your music up on the streamers and share it with your fans, your friends, your family, your mom, your dog, everybody. Everyone wants to hear it. But go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, HYPHENATE, and send me the link. I want to hear it too. Send your mom the link. Send your dog the link. They all want to hear it too.
Producing, I think it's like anytime you start to cross that line into the creative process of what the song is or the arrangement is. And then, more heavy-handed of actually picking who's playing on it or help, being really creative in the whole, from the get-go of the writing of the song.
What's happening, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into Hyphenate with me, your host, Randy Randall. Mix Master March continues. This is our second week of it. This is our show for March 12th. And today my guest is Jarvis Taveniere. I've known Jarvis for a lot of years, and we get into it. Our band No Age played with his band Woods years ago. I went down the rabbit hole and found the date of the show. It was in 2010. We talk about it in the interview. But Jarvis is an incredible producer, mixer. You can find out more about him on his website, jarvistaveniere.com. That's JarvisTaveniere. You can also find him on his Instagram. It's his name, Jarvis_Taveniere. You can also find him on X at Jarvis Taveniere. Jarvis is awesome. He's an incredible musician, but also such an accomplished producer, mixer, really great ear for sound, and he's made some of your favorite records. He is really cool. He has done so much rad, good music, not only himself, but also with Woods and for so many of his bands. What do we have here? I mean, there's so much stuff. Mid-High Club. He mixed this record, and he got him a gold record. What the hell? That's great. Incredible. Very accomplished. Very cool. He's done so much stuff. Go explore. Go find his music out there and hire him. He's worked with Kevin Morby, his bandmate, former bandmate from Woods. He's worked with so many great people. He has part of the Woodsist Festival they put on every year. Really cool, awesome, super talented musician. And I'm really stoked to present our conversation here. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everyone is hanging in there in these trying times. I also want to give a shout out to Heal, our newest sponsor for this podcast. They sent over an awesome microphone that I am speaking in now. And they also sent over a cool shock mount and a boom arm. So I appreciate Heal. Go check them out and, find find the microphone that works for you. We talk a lot about microphones here. They're a great resource for people. Where do we go for Heal microphones? You can go to Heal Sound, which is HEIL sound.com. World-class microphones for any and all applications. Thank you, Heal, for sponsoring this episode and this podcast. Yeah, you can reach out to me. Find me Hyphenate halftime. No, yeah, what is it? Hyphenate halftime at gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Randy S. Randall. And reach out. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what kind of microphones you like to use. And go check out the Heal microphones on their website there, healsound.com. And yeah, let's jump into it. Here is my interview with Jarvis Taveniere. Jarvis, thanks so much for coming on Hyphenate. How you doing today, man?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
Good. What is your signal chain? This is my favorite question now to ask people that know about these things. What are we hearing you through today?
The SM7B to a Avitas preamp.
Ooh, okay. So I don't know about Avitas. What's the story on Avitas?
Avitas is a guy. I think he's actually up in your area.
Oh, okay. That sounds
so
local
kind of Neve-ish.
I like it.
Yeah, maybe you would say like a slightly faster Neve or something.
All right, that sounds cool. That's awesome. Maybe I've seen it written. Yeah. I don't think might be one of those things. Like if I see the logo or I know, I'd be like, oh yeah, this company. It's a funny one. Yeah, I tried so many different things. I've put compressors and different things. I try to get my real, sultry thing, and I found myself. I'm like, it doesn't sound good. This isn't, for chit chatting. I got.
Well, you tell me.
I threw you sound great. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threw a distressor on it too.
Oh,
I'm starting to hear it work. So
did you really? No. You did.
did.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. You got it going.
I mean, I got all this stuff.
You might as well, right? Yeah. You got to plug it in. Awesome. Yeah. Well, we can talk about recording and producing and writing and performing. The Hyphenate hat fits you well. You're a man of many talents and trades. But where do you come from? How did this all get started? Where did the creative bug first bite you?
I don't know where it first bit me, but I'm from New York, about an hour north of the city. I used to call it upstate New York, but now all my friends live further upstate. So I don't know what that is, but I
always think of upstate as Albany, like that Rochester, Albany,
exactly,
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just an easy way to explain it when I go to the city. Like I'm from upstate, but
yeah, but now there's a whole Hudson Valley.
There's a lot more of the state.
There's
exactly.
Yeah.
But as far as the creative bug, yeah, I don't know. I always liked music, maybe Def Leppard.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Those are some of the early records.
That was the first memory I had. Yeah.
Wow.
Like borrowing a Def Leppard tape from my cousin.
Whoa, that's cool.
Def Leppard, Motley Crue.
Yeah, I remember that Van Halen 1984, right, with like the cherub, kind of like the cover art just stuck out, like the little angel smoking on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ooh, this is.
So you were into that?
I mean, as much as you are as a kid, then I think I was mostly quickly moved to like MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle soundtrack, the Bartman, the Bart Simpsons Sing the Blues. So probably some of those, I don't think I really understood music till like Nirvana stuff. And then I was like, oh, okay. Like fifth grade going into sixth grade. Like, this is like my music, where there was music. And then there was like, there was an identity sort of description set to it, prescribed to the music in a different way.
100%. I had the same thing happened to me with Nirvana, but I mean, my love for Motley Crue and Rat and Def Leppard and all those types of bands before I got turned on to Nirvana, the whole world did.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that love was very real.
That's amazing.
There's a picture on I had a picture on my wall of, I think it was Motley Crue, Vince Neil. And I cut out my face from a yearbook or whatever you do when you're 8 years old.
Yeah.
And like put my face on him.
That's incredible. Okay. So you were in, and then I was in. Were you playing music? Did you start taking guitar lessons around then?
I started taking guitar lessons around that time, but no, it didn't really feel attainable. It felt it was just like kind of a make-believe world
Yeah.
for me.
How were the lessons like Mary
I
Had a
still
Little
kind
Lamb?
of obsessed over it.
Or were you like learning Poison songs or like Motley Crue songs?
I think by the time I got a guitar and by the time I started taking lessons, it was after Nirvana happened
I see.
to
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
So it was Pavement songs.
Ooh. Okay.
Which is funny to pay somebody now figuring out those songs.
Yeah.
Like from the first record.
You spent
from
your
Slanted
parents'
Enchanted.
hard-earned money on these songs.
Yeah.
$10
a week.
The Pavement's a funny one because I feel like I almost put them into the Sonic Youth camp where I'm like, are they doing different tunings? Or is there something different? Because I know all those songs like intuitively in my head, but when I sit to play them, I'm like, oh no, I don't get these at all. Are they stupidly easy to play? I don't think I've ever really
No,
tried
I
to
mean,
cover.
I think they're both great guitar players. The first record, pretty simple stuff. Maybe I think drop D.
Oh, okay.
The only one I had my guitar teacher try to figure out for me was Texas Never Whispers.
Mm.
If you're familiar with that song.
No, I don't know.
And he had this elaborate way to play it.
Mm-hmm.
That's from Watery Domestic.
Oh,
EP.
okay. Yep.
He figured out, he was trying to show me how to play it and I knew it just didn't sound right.
Mm.
And it was about a year later where I was like, this is a long time ago, but I think it was just drop D and very simple, just moving your finger kind of up and down. He was a Steve Vai kind of guitar player, my guitar teacher. So he just overly complicated it.
That's great. Yeah. As most guitar teachers do.
Yeah.
One of the most pinched.
But I like that you thought I was learning how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb.
I mean, that's often when I talk to people, that's kind of the hot cross buns or something. And most people get so frustrated and it's like on a classical acoustic with nylon strings. And that's often, the frustration of many creative musicians, guitar players that I've talked to. It's like, oh, this guy tried to get me to play, the worst, nursery rhyme songs on a nylon string and, and then that forces you then to go back into the bedroom and kind of woodshed it and out of spite, learn this.
Yeah. I played I before getting lessons, I tried playing for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I put my fingers on the fret. I just didn't know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not necessarily.
So I put it away for a little while.
I was going to say, getting back to the Pavement thing, one of my biggest pinch me moments is I played a few shows with Spiral Stairs he did a solo record a couple years back. And I guested on a track. And then when he played some shows in San Diego and LA and he invited me up on stage for the encore to play with his band. And we did 2 States. And
love it.
Amazing. And but I had no idea how to play it. It was the kind of thing where it's like, it's, 2 chords or 1 chord, or whatever. It's
Did you just have to wing it? No rehearsal?
I think the bass player, no rehearsal. The bass player is kind of like, it's an A to D or something. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And we eventually, I figured, yeah. But I don't know, for some reason, there's something about like, as much as I can sit with songs and things, there's just some bands I'm just like, I don't know, there's magic in there. Like whenever you do it, it sounds great. Whenever I do it, it doesn't sound good. I can't figure it out. So like I'm intimidated or I'm just kind of like, I don't even try to cover, those songs. I know them so well, almost put like the Smiths in there as well. It's like, I know they're riffs. You can riff it out. You can do it like Johnny Marr.
What you're saying about it being magic. I always think that, because I went to school for production, and there was a lot of musicians at the school that were just singer-songwriters, C and D chords, a lot of just standard stuff. And it always sounded to me like my classmate wrote a song. Mm-hmm. And then as I got into Neil Young and realized, I'm like, wait, this guy's using these same songs, but there's magic.
Yeah.
And some of them he wrote when he was 20 or whatever. The same age that these guys are, but these guys aren't magic, or these women. Some of them were. There were a couple that were magic.
But yeah, there's just something when you
majority, hear yeah. And I was like, oh, Neil Young's just doing that?
Yes, yeah.
But he's magic.
There is something to that, you know what I mean? And just because you can play those chords in the same time, in the same rhythm that the song is in, it just doesn't sound like it. There's all kinds of other stuff involved in it.
But it sounds like we're saying that we're not magic. So let's
no, it's lots of yeah. I mean, there's lots of magic out there. I just I'm in awe and always like, and then I don't know. I've never been a good cover person, I guess. And I always think it's like, I think I'm secretly ashamed. Like I'm just lazy, but I think really I'm just like, I don't want to touch those songs. Those songs are great. I like listening to them. Why would I play? I guess that like that drive of like, I want to play a song that I love. I want to write a song and hopefully I'll, love
I
that
couldn't
one,
pick up a song.
I don't love covering things.
I mean, I couldn't pick up a guitar and play one song start to finish that someone else wrote.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I might know a riff, and I feel ashamed because I see people.
There's a Lee Hazelwood song I can play most of.
I see people do it, and and I see really good musicians do it, and they make it their own, and they do a whole thing, and they own it, and they go, oh, it's just like this, and they interpret it, and I'm like, that's gorgeous, that's beautiful. I don't have that. that's my sore spot, I think, in life. Like I've tried, but
well, I think a reinterpretation works better than,
I guess so. Yeah. Than a
just trying to do it spot on.
Right. So you pick up a guitar and you're learning. What about tab? I love this too. Sorry, before we move off of this, the embarrassing adolescence of learning guitar in the 90s, like tablature. Did you ever do that stuff?
What's the one? Is that where it just shows you which finger goes in which spot?
Or it's the numbers.
It's not reading music.
It's the numbers on the strings. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I did a lot of that. Yeah. I'd buy like the Guitar World magazines. Like,
I had the Nirvana Nevermind book.
Okay. Yeah. That'll do it. I stupidly bought early on the the Jimi Hendrix like Woodstock book. Again, these are like, no, terrible or horrific. You know what I mean? Like trying to play Purple Haze the way transcribed from the live recording of how he played it at Woodstock. And I'm like, this sounds, I like that. This Jimi Hendrix guy seems to know what he's doing. Okay. Well, I should just try to play like that. And it just, I think that set me back probably 6 months of like, nah, okay, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just thinking about, the hours I spent playing along to the first couple Ramones records, and just, I think applying it back to what I was saying is how I finally figured out how to play the Pavement song is just eventually common sense kicks in, or you're like, oh, if your finger's here, it would make sense to just move it right over there. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then you start figuring out all these songs. You're like, oh, it's probably just this, which if I knew theory, you would just say it's 1, 4, 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So to me, it was more, I was coming at it from another way.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, I love it. It's all of those kind of moments of, there is an alchemy or there's that thing. And I remember even for years, even into like beginning of No Age stuff, it was just like, I'm trying to find a chord that goes with this. And I just keep moving my fingers around to like, ooh, okay. I don't know the name of the chord. I don't know where it is, but if I play this chord here and that chord there, that seems to do something. And then again, just believing in magic. I'm like, I don't know. Those are the two chords that go good together. Let's see if I can find a third chord that goes with it. And you just kind of, you're feeling around in the dark. And I think and I wouldn't pass that up. I think it's ignorant and it's naive, but it's does something to you.
Yeah. Jeremy from Woods writes songs that way too. Even when he uses more complicated chords or things that seem a little sophisticated. Mm-hmm. And I'll be looking at him as he's trying to find it, or Kyle, our keyboard player, and you want to just say,
that one,
like minor 7, or diminished. I don't even know what a diminished is, to be honest with you. But you're just watching him because he writes from that place of just, he doesn't know any theory and he's just hearing what's in his head and he's trying to figure it out, find that magic.
Yeah.
Without using any theory, and it's fun to watch, and it's hard to not try to jump in.
I love it though. I think that's the way, you got to do it. You got to do it the way you do it. But where do you go from? So you're, you mentioned going to school for production. How does that happen? Where do you go to school, and how do you find that?
SUNY Purchase.
Okay.
I didn't know what else to do. I didn't really think of a future at all, to be honest. And a friend of mine who played in some local bands went to this school for this, for that program. So once I mentioned that to my mom, she was like, well, that's what you need to do.
She liked the sound of that. It sounded like a pathway.
She liked the sound of that. She's like, you are directionless. So that seems like something.
That's a direction. Amazing.
It's a direction.
And then did you have bands in high school? Were you, from your
Oh yeah.
Okay. What were those bands? What were those like? What was that experience?
Well, there was Gargamel and
nice.
Drano.
Beautiful. Were these
I
punky,
don't know, just
Guided by Voicey? What were these things?
Just indie rocky, but just figuring out how to play songs and how to play with other people. And
where would you guys play? What was the venue?
There's a record store called Rock and Rex where I spent my teen years.
Amazing.
In Yonkers, New York. It was amazing.
Shout out.
Are
they still there?
Yeah. No, it closed, probably decades ago.
But they would have like local bands come and play in store?
Local bands would play, some bands, and they would make bootleg videos and sell VHS tapes, and
of the local bands.
It was just a great spot.
Or
shows they had there, or, I had a video of Unrest playing in the store, a show I didn't go to, but I had the VHS the owner had made.
That's so cool. That hits a part of my brain.
To Tony at Rock and Rex.
That hits a part of my brain. I remember our cool record store was the Rhino Records in Claremont. I grew up in the Inland Empire here in California, and Rhino in Claremont. Yeah, I was never cool enough to really know anybody that worked there. Again, I was kind of the little brother kind of and all. But I remember they did have a VHS section. They had a small little stage, and they had pictures up, and maybe they even had some kind of video content of bands that had played there. It sounds so familiar, and I'd be like, "Ooh, I hadn't even thought about that." That's a great, very pre-internet, pre-social media sort of idea.
I was in high school getting into 4-track cassette recording. And Shrimper Records. Dennis worked at Rhino, right?
Yes, yeah. I've been told the legend of. I don't know. Again, I was not cool. I was not. If anybody was doing anything cool in the area where I lived, they did not want to know me, even if I wanted to know them. I saw Mountain Goats play like a coffee shop in Pomona.
I bet you were cooler than you thought.
I think I was kind of the annoying little brother. I had a lot of enthusiasm and jumped around a lot. But what was it? John Darnell. I think he was going to school in Claremont, and I bought a record at Rhino, and maybe there was a flyer or something up, or about like a 7-inch. And there, so I was trying, again, feeling around in the dark, looking for that magic. Like, okay, what are these bands doing? And seeing that kind of stuff happen. I knew it was out there. It was just trying to, you have to sift
I bet
through
you were. I think you're cool.
Oh, you're too.
Because when I think back, I was so uncool. But as I described sitting in my bedroom making 4-track recordings or going to shows in record stores, I'm like, that sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I was right there with you. What 4-track?
I was around cool things.
That's it. Right. Yeah. If not cool yourself, you knew what was cool. You were developing a sense of curation of style. Like,
slowly.
What was the 4-track you had in high school? Sorry, this will be all very like record nerd stuff because I feel like we're of a similar age and mindset.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I remember it had circular like dials.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That were
sounds like a Tascam.
Sort of flat neon. Mm-hmm. Probably was.
Yeah. I still have mine here. It's the Tascam Porta Studio 424 MK2.
Yeah, all my friends had the 424, but I just got this one kind of randomly.
It was a little bit smaller, the little flatter, smaller one.
It was flatter, smaller, yeah.
Yeah, kind of the size of a shoe, like a little smaller than a shoebox. Could fit in a shoebox.
Yeah, but I got that in high school, and then most weekend days or summers, I just remember I would record music by myself all morning, and then like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I'd find my skater friends, and we'd skate all day. And that was my life for years.
If we lived in the same town, we would have been friends. This was much of my wasted, or developing time from, 94 to 99. There was I dislocated my shoulder somewhere in the middle there. And I think that's where I was like, okay, I think I'm going to spend more time on guitar and less time on the skateboard. I think there was a clear line in the sand. Probably I was around 15, 16. And it was like, okay, I think the world is telling me stick with the guitar. Stop going to the hospital.
I had a torn ACL. It did the same thing.
There we go. See, yep.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if I'm good enough for the skateboarding thing professionally. Yeah. So let's focus on music so I can still walk.
Yeah. Less possibility of getting hurt. Would you record your friends' bands? Or was it only yourself? Did you
No, it's really just myself. Okay. I mean, I played music with other people and we would sometimes record things, but I just kind of had this bedroom, like my own thing going on.
Yeah. I had
movies, the records I owned, recording music, making cassette releases that I'd make 5 copies of and send one out not even really even give them to these friends of mine. It was just my own little world.
I would play a song for my mom just so I felt like there was some presentation of it. I understood that like I was making this like you had to play it for somebody. Like that was the like it would complete the circle if someone else's ears heard what you did. And so I would play it for my mom after spending, 16 hours on this, kind of out of tune, warbled, nothing garbage. And she would go, "Oh, okay. It's very discordant." And I didn't know what that word, but it sounded like Discord. I knew enough about, I was like, that's a Washington DC thing. Okay. That sounds cool. She's saying it sounds like Discord. Okay. And I think she was just trying to be nice, but she was like, she was like, "No, this isn't good. It sounds like, but you're making a lot of noise." And I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do." And, but that was it. And I wouldn't give it to anybody. I wouldn't share it with anyone, but I would occasionally charge my friends' bands like I don't know, $50 or $100 to spend, all day in their garage. I would take it with me, and then I would get a new Maxell cassette and then put up, 4 SM. I didn't even have a 57 out of whatever Radio Shack mics, crappy Radio Shack mics I had put it up in their garage and record their ska band for like, again, 10 hours.
I mean, that sounds amazing. Yeah. I wish I did more of that.
I had no idea what I was doing. I knew what, if it was in the red, it was probably too much, but I couldn't, like, the singer probably should have a mic closer to him. And then you put a mic around the drums, a mic around the horns, and the guitar and bass. Those are pretty loud anyway. They'll be in there somewhere. And we wouldn't really, just do it all live.
Man, you knew more than I did.
Well, I fancied myself something to do with something. But it was a lot of ice. And do you have shoe boxes full of those tapes still that you did?
Yeah, there's a dresser in my dad's house. Nice. And one of the drawers is just all the cassettes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have shoe boxes. I have like skate shoe boxes. I remember I found this one with like a Hookups shoes. Do you remember that? The Jeremy Klein company Hookups? They were like an anime marketed kind of thing. Anyway, I have a box of those. I still have like just unlistenable things. A friend came over and said, you should listen to them. You should do something with them. And I put it in there, and the rule was no fast forwarding. I'm like, I really can't do this. And it was like, I don't know, 20 minutes of just like a drum machine beat. Like I don't know, nothing else, just that. I was like, I can't handle this.
I try to make proper releases with cover art, and I go to Kinko's.
Oh, wow. All right.
16 songs or something each one.
You saw the final mix.
I don't know if I will ever listen to them.
But you had to do that in order to get there.
I choose to spend my time.
No. Yeah. I don't think I'll, after sitting through that 20 minutes of just a drum machine, then I was like, this is not as productive of my time at this point. But if I had an intern or an assistant or somebody, I would force them to do it, I think. And just to digitize it.
For what purpose? You want to torture them?
Yeah, I think so. But to have a digital record of it all, that I could kind of refer to that hard drive versus, I think a box of cassettes rotting in the garage is, probably
sad.
Yeah. It'd be less sad if it was rotting on a hard drive somewhere.
I do have a cassette of me and my uncle when I was 7 years old or something. And we're trying to figure out how to record on a boombox that maybe has a built-in microphone, or we plugged in a microphone. Mm-hmm. And it's just me and him just trying to figure it out, but it's recording the whole time. But we're like, how do we get it to record? And I've carried this cassette with me my whole life.
Oh, that sounds
And
great.
when the fires hit last year, it was the first time I grabbed it and I digitized it, and then drove out to the desert. It was like the one thing.
That's great. That's amazing. Yeah. Those little things. Yeah. I remember like in 5th grade, I had like a boom box with a microphone in it, and I tried to do like a radio show where I interviewed all my friends. Very similar to this, it's not too different, but I was like, it was like we had field day, this kind of what, I knew what I wanted to do at 10 years old, but it was like field day, like one of those days where everyone goes and like runs around. It was kind of like the last day of 5th grade, end of our elementary school. And I would just interview my friends and everybody, just holding the boombox up to our face. And then I'd put on a song or something and try to make it like a radio show. Like I was broadcasting live from an event. It felt like the right thing to do. So when you go to college now, it's official. And is this the digital revolution? Are they teaching Pro Tools? Are you splicing tape?
It's all ADAT.
Whoa. Okay. I know so little about ADAT.
I feel like it was only like really popular for the years I was at school.
Okay. And
So it was a strange education. I think a lot of it was where I was at. I wasn't ready to really learn.
yeah,
I was so excited to meet, because I think it was a lot of similar types of kids there. Bunch of people from the suburbs who were all finally found each other at this art school. And it was way more about socializing. Maybe that's all college, and I'm just acting like I had this unique experience. But I definitely noticed there were people in my program who were learning Pro Tools, which had just come out or was at least getting more popular then. And I just had no interest. I just wanted to start bands. All these people, I finally am around people who have the same records I have. And let's just play house parties. And that's all I wanted to do. But I did the second year because they threatened to kick me out very nicely. The teachers took me aside and were like, we can't have you here. You're not really doing anything. I was like, so I got my act together. And yeah, and that's when I started finally learning about recording. But still, it was ADAT, still kind of lo-fi.
And would you have to work in a studio? Was it a hands-on thing, or was it all kind of reading from books? Like, did you get to test out?
No, it was all hands-on.
Oh, that's
there.
great.
There might have been books, and
beautiful.
I just didn't.
That's part of you getting kicked out, was you didn't look at the books.
I don't know. I think I just,
But you had a studio.
partying.
You had a studio to work in. You could go in and actually apply.
I became the head of one of the studios for the last 2 years I was there. So I was in charge of recording all these recitals.
Oh, amazing.
But it just, yeah, it was great. But again, it was a lot of just pointing mics at things, and I was recording these jazz majors, and they knew how to kind of mix themselves and arrange themselves. So I thought I knew more than I did. And then I'd record my friends' bands, and I was not thinking in terms of how I think now.
Sure. But you couldn't have gotten
Sonically.
to now without having gone through just that feeling around, groping in the dark of just
Exactly.
you need. Yeah. I being a father of young children, I'm constantly like encouraging just be bad. Just be okay with being bad at things. I feel like it's the best advice. And I don't think we tell our children or we tell young people enough, like just suck. Just be really bad at whatever you're doing, but do it quickly. Be bad, try to just do it a lot. Be okay with being bad for a while, and then you'll get better, because there's no skipping that step of being bad at something. And no one should ever expect young people to be good, especially right away. But maybe even for years, like just be bad, and that's great. You're right where you're supposed to be. And it's hard for kids.
I think years is more practical.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of been this podcast, like when I started, I was like, I'm going to give myself 4 years to be bad at this.
Ooh, what year are we in now?
We're halfway through year 3. So
we're still bad.
I have another year and a half. Well, the army of audience, or the army of fans, will let us know if we're good or bad at this.
Good. Yeah. My daughter recently, she was throwing a tantrum about something. She was drawing something. It didn't come out how she wanted. She tore it up.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to bond with her over it and just telling her how, in music, I do things all the time. I get so frustrated. I want to give up. I think maybe I told her about a show I just played recently, and I just had a bad show.
Did she
and when
listen?
I told her, she looked at me and she started crying more. And she's like, Daddy, you're supposed to be perfect.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
You're supposed to be good, Daddy.
And
I was like, you're right.
You're right. I am great.
No.
I'm great all the time.
You're right. I can't fuck up. Yeah. I have to be perfect. You're right. Screw what I just said.
It brings to mind so many things. One thing that I found really profoundly productive for me in this later stage, or this, this not beginning part of my career, middle part, if my career, that was the only difference between people that make good things and the people that don't, is the people that make good things don't stop when it's bad. They keep going till it's good. And I think that's, and I think there was that feeling of the first demo, the first pass through of the thing, it's going to be bad. And mostly everybody's bad. Even still, long into your career, I'm sure Paul McCartney has, piles and piles of bad music. And And then
yeah, I think
then
that's
it keeps going, and then he keeps going and applies, more ideas and thought and looks for something else and then figures it, and then it could become good.
yeah, I think that's the whole game.
It's just don't stop.
It's just being okay, being bad at things. I mean, it's so easy to get discouraged. There's so many facets, especially in music.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different instruments. I wish I was better at piano or something. And it's so easy to get discouraged.
Yeah.
Especially the older you get.
Well,
like when you're young, it's kind of easy to suck at something and you don't really realize it.
Yeah. And it's when you're with your friends and we all kind of suck, but boy, was that fun. Yeah. Let's go grab a beer. But yeah, being older and working on stuff by yourself and like, I should be better than this. I am better than this. What is this garbage I'm making? You go back and listen to it and like, right. But don't stop. Keep going. And then, and it's like, and I know enough. It's that I think I saw a Paul McCartney thing too of it, where it was like, there's the spark and then there's the craft, at least in songwriting or in, kind of that sort of thing of like craft, meaning like a basket weaving or like a skill set, like building a chair, carpentry, or, automotive or something. It's like once you have the spark and then you can apply this idea, like, okay, we'll repeat that 4 times, then go to this, relative chord change. And then, go here, go there. And then you can sort of weave it together. And I was like, yeah, that sounds right. Okay. If he's doing that, that sounds good. You know what I mean? There's the inspiration and then there's the craft of it all. I'm like, I try to keep that in mind when I'm working on things.
Yeah.
It's the craft, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, as a songwriter yourself, like what do you find yourself do you apply a craft to things, or even as a producer or as an engineer, as someone in there? I mean, it's not everything is super creative. Some of it is just the nuts and bolts. Like how do you balance that? And what's your take?
I don't know if I think about balancing it, but it is true. I mean, I was thinking just the other day about whether I'm producing or just mixing, or I'm on tour for a month. Even though I like the variety, when you do something every day, that craft is it's just in your bones. You're just just the repetition of it, just having that is so powerful. But unfortunately, it gets a little boring doing the same thing every day. So I like to mix it up.
There's the balance, right? I guess that's the balance of it all. Like do something. Yeah. If it's too much craft, it feels boring. If it's too much creative, it's unwieldy, or it's not productive.
I'm not even saying that's a positive. Yeah. It's just, I wish I could be happy just doing one thing. Cause I do notice, yes, if you do the same thing every day, you just learn so much, or just remember. I mean, so much goes into making a record or mixing a record, or, I mean, sometimes it can feel really easy, but there are so many small little choices that are being made in every moment. Right. So the more repetition you have, those are just second nature, and you're just making them. And next thing you know, you made something and it felt effortless.
You're right.
Ideally.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. You kind of, you becomes an instinct without even really thinking about it. Yeah. It's an instinctual side. So from college production, what happens next? Where does Woods sort of form in this sort of time, or where does your musical journey go?
Well, I met Jeremy in college, and right when I graduated, we were both playing in a band called I'm the Resurrection. That was around briefly, kind of little thrashy band. I met all these kids that were into hardcore, and I think they thought of me as the indie rock guy. They wanted me to do the chimey, pretty guitar parts.
That's cool.
But so it was just total chaos. It was very fun. Just pure nihilism. And I loved it.
That sounds very early aughts. Is this the 2000s?
Yes, it was early aughts, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
so through that kind of brief touring experience, just fell in love with going on tour and realizing that maybe it wasn't as hard if your expectations were a little lower. Mm-hmm. So house shows, art galleries, VFW halls, whatever. So after doing that in this sort of thrashy hardcore band, and realizing how much I like traveling with Jeremy, that's when I just kind of, the idea started about having bands, and I can buy a van. We can just do this. Those hardcore kids were already tapped into it, and I was not.
Yeah. It's so, again, so it's so funny how many parallels in our stories. Cause I think I kind of came from the Sonic Youthy sort of noisy, but indie rocky pavement sort of thing. And then I felt,
Well, that's what I liked. I didn't have a way in,
of course,
or nothing presented itself.
sure. Yeah. But
in my life.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
Until
I mean,
these
I fell
hardcore
in
kids emerged.
Yeah, I fell in with like a power violence band, called The Count. And I was like, what is power violence? What is this? And then it's like, it was like referencing the Locust and things like this. And I was like, okay. So and I played bass. I'd never played bass before, but they gave me a bass and just said, move your hands around. And then when we stop. Like we have to all start together and just make a big bunch of noise. And the sets would be like 8 minutes long. I'm like, okay, this sounds, and then you could fall on the floor and I would like punch the bass till my hands bled. And they were like, that's great. Exactly. It was like a performance art piece. I didn't really understand it, but I was like, okay, this isn't really music, or this isn't really what I'm thinking of. At this point I have my shoeboxes full of sad indie rock songs or, drum loops or things, that I was like, well, this is nothing like that, but it was but we played live. That was the best part. I wanted to play live. I was tired of being in my bedroom. So I fell in with this kind of punk thing that was happening, and it was a more DIY sort of world of stuff. And then No,
you can go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and then it's like, then I understood the Misfits. I was like, the Misfits to me were like a jock band. You know what I mean? It sounded like it was like the Warped Tour already happened. All these things were kind of in the Southern California punk world. Like the Hot Topic sold t-shirts with a big skull face on it. So therefore it was not cool in my mind. But then I would, later on I would hear it and go, oh, okay. These are just like Ramon songs or doo-wop songs. These are just kind of like, totally Elvis songs. Like, okay, I got it. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. Those tours that we're both describing, I mean, it was just so inspirational to just all of a sudden to just be in the camaraderie of being in a band and just daily life on tour and just figuring all that out was so exciting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And even
if
I
wasn't playing the ideal kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was really educational, and just everyone I met that was at these shows, they just liked all types of music. I made so many friends who were like, oh, I also have like a noise band. I'd be like, whoa, I also play in this kind of noise band too. Maybe we should do a show,
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome.
Or just dudes with like Liberty spikes talking about their favorite Weezer song.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh, everybody likes everything.
Yeah. It's not as segmented as it would seem. But I fell in love with like that DIY sort of spirit of like, just do it any which way you can, wherever you can do it and however it works, get in where you fit in sort of thing. And I was like, that's what I was missing. I had some high-minded sort of spirit, but also wasn't exposed to a lot of stuff. I mean, I went to concerts at the big theaters or the stadiums or I went to the big shows, and I was like, I don't even know how you find out about the independent shows or the more DIY shows. Like, I wasn't plugged into that in the suburbs, and then finding that sort of connection of the art galleries and backyard places and warehouses. And it was like, this is my people.
Totally.
And then, do you and Jeremy split off from that band?
Yeah, we started a few different bands. The one that we mostly toured with, and I think we played No Age, your band's first show, Menegwar.
Oh, right.
Where I sang and Jeremy was the drummer.
Oh my God. Yes. This was in 2006 at the Smell, right? With Matt and Kim and
exactly.
Bar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We were on tour with Matt and Kim, our friends from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Kim approached me on a rooftop at a party and was like, do you want to go on tour together? Amazing. And it was both our first tours, like US. So maybe it's my first. Nah, I've probably been to the West Coast another tour, but yeah.
Oh, how funny.
So our LA show was at the Smell.
I have so little memory of that
and
show.
I knew of Wives. Maybe I saw your old band Wives play.
Yeah. Yeah. We did a bunch. We had probably been to New York, 3 times. We'd done 3 US tours to no one's notice, but we kept coming and kept doing it anyway, regardless. But yeah, I don't remember that show at all. I have no memory of that show. I know the poster. I was so nervous, I think. And so kind of just out of my mind, or maybe I was drunk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought I was like, I'm with the cool kids of LA.
Was that your first time at the Smell?
Yes.
Okay.
I had heard of it.
That's awesome.
I'd heard of it, but yeah, I was excited.
Was it a good show from your perspective? Were there people there? I don't even know. feel like
There's a lot of people.
Brendan had a draw. Okay. And I'm sure Matt and Kim and you guys had a draw as well.
Yeah, maybe.
We just started, but yeah, we made a bunch of posters. But
you were the local guys.
Yeah. Yeah. We were trying something new, but we made a bunch of like kind of those like fake, rainbow posters and like silk screened them and put them up everywhere. And I think Jim got in trouble for it from Jim at the Smell, like got in trouble. Mm-hmm. We were just like taping them everywhere, like on like freeway exits and on ramps and things. I don't know how many we made, 100 or something.
Oh, I
like
love
big
that.
Neon poster board things when we we took lots of pictures and it was a fun, I think those first days of No Age, I think we were trying to use a lot of that kind of psychological branding and marketing things that we
worked.
It was something. We were trying.
It worked.
So Menaguar, right. Okay. And then what happened after that band?
Well, that band I feel like was kind of leaning into a lot of music I liked in high school, indie rock. And then I remember a conversation with Jeremy in his car where we're just like, all we listen to is like Fleetwood Mac and Can. Like, I think I want to start playing music like the music we listen to.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that probably would make sense, huh?
There was a lot that
like,
that was the transition from Wives to No Age. Was a very similar kind of conversation. Like, why are we playing this? We don't even listen to this kind of music anymore.
Especially when you get locked into a band and like I was saying before, like the camaraderie of the band and things. It's so exciting and it's fun when it works. But it can function while you're just maybe artistically going somewhere else.
Yeah. Or the member changes, you know what I mean? The dynamics change. This kind of, you got somebody else.
But I think we maybe stayed in it a little bit longer because of that. Because, it was just comfortable and we're doing it and we're getting better at the thing.
Yeah.
But we're kind of not into that thing anymore. So it was really exciting to just start to make different kinds of music. I mean, Jeremy had started Woods by himself or with Christian, who played guitar in Menaguar too.
Okay.
They were just doing home recordings. So I was playing in a band called Wooden Wand and the Vanishing Voice. That was like kind of folky improv. Like we would just show up and just do these improv sets with sort of homemade instruments. And it was really fun, really great experience. So I was off doing that and they started doing Woods in this house we all shared together. And a lot of times they would do it kind of alone, sometimes together.
I was going to say, and this is in New York?
In their bedrooms.
This is okay.
Yeah. Let me know if I'm jumping ahead.
No.
Clarification.
No, it's great. I mean, this is also around like the Animal Collective sort of explosion of things happening as well around this time, right? There was that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, a lot of things were exploding then. I mean, from what I was more into was more of like a Wolf Eyes kind of a thing. I don't know. Like when I think of that time, like just bands that were blowing my mind and just a lot of different types of things were happening. And then even a band like No Age. There were just like a lot of bands around that time that were mixing things I liked from all these different bands I had enjoyed. Some indie rock, some hardcore, some noise, some whatever, ambient, and just seeing people mix it up. Kind of like I was saying before, how going on these hardcore tours and realizing everybody likes everything, or most people like a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Then seeing it reflected in bands. I mean, and this is just really just me being closed-minded and assuming the worst of people or something. But again, like a band like No Age, I'm like, oh, everybody likes all this stuff and we can mix it all together.
It's amazing.
It doesn't have to, I don't have to be in just an indie rock band. I don't have to be in just this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that just opened up all these possibilities.
Oh yeah.
Is that how you felt?
It's so cool. It's funny because I feel like, that was kind of the idea, but it's like everybody, you're sort of just shouting into the void, of like, is anyone hearing this? Does anyone else like this? And I really do feel like those early days of that No Age stuff where it was like, it makes sense because, reflecting on our sort of like shared journey of 4-tracks and skateboarding and all these things and, that kind of feeling of like, okay, I like all this stuff. And I feel like by the time No Age came, it was sort of out of the ashes or out of the failure of one band. And so there's part of me that felt like I'm smarter and more resilient, or I'm more experienced. Like having one thing kind of like just fail, it's like, okay, enough, but like in a way where it really imploded and it was not successful. It was, despite our best efforts, this whole thing kind of blew up in our faces. And so if we were to do another band, we wanted to not make the same mistakes, but also if there was a part of it, I was like, we have less to lose. Like, I don't really care as much about like being cool or just or there was a mix of that sort of thing of like, I think we are just that confidence. I think, there's more, it was a confidence of like, if that's as bad as it could get, if our last show was played to, this kind of, you sort of see the whole thing fall apart, the wheels fall off the thing, you go, oh, well, it's not that bad. Okay. We survived that. What, how bad could this get? And, so I think in terms of the music that we played, it was that kind of idea. And Dean sort of came from a hardcore world where he knew who Minor Threat was. I'd never heard a Minor Threat song, but I liked My Bloody Valentine, and he never really had, never really heard of My Bloody Valentine song. And so, was a lot of those like pressure cooker drives of that Wives, especially that last part of Wives where we kicked the drummer out. And so then that was just kind of he and I really being stewing on this stuff in these long drives and like playing songs for each other. I was like, oh, okay. I see the aggression and the sort of the wild precision of whatever this hardcore thing is. And then he saw sort of maybe some of the sloppiness and shoegaziness of stuff. And we're like, okay, let's try to do that. But then, so that's the idea coming in. And then we'd sit down to actually do it. And neither one of our skills is anywhere near that. Like he can't really play hardcore drums and I can't really play Kevin Shields guitar. So despite our best efforts, then it comes out as we meet somewhere in the middle as amateurs of learning this kind of stuff.
Oh, totally.
Sounds. And that's sort of, we had to just be okay with that. Like, cool. That kind of sounds like something we're going for, despite our best efforts, that's why I always love working with bands and getting references. Like, okay, what are you trying to do? Not that we're going to make it sound exactly like that, but I want to know where's everybody where are all the boats pointed so that we can kind of know what that is. So I get what it is you're doing, even if you're not getting there. Not that we're going to rip it off, but just to kind of, what do you think you sound like? What do you think you're doing? Because that says a lot more than even what is actually being done. And it helps. I think that was a big part for us. But where do you get into then? Are you still recording bands around this time now that, that you guys are,
No, not at all.
Okay. So you're only playing music, not really looking at
only
recording.
Playing. Yeah.
And when did Men at War make a record? How did you guys record that? What was your
there's
studio experience?
3.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I apologize.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, we did 2 in studios and like friends, kind of smaller studios. And then we did one that was home recorded, pretty lo-fi, because that's kind of where we were going. That's just cool. The freedom of the kind of what you were describing, like when something doesn't work, or for us anyway.
Yeah.
Like a band that's not really going anywhere, it's hitting a wall. Just the freedom we felt. It was kind of like a freedom, but also a nihilism of just like none of this matters. Like we're just going to make shit. We like art. We like music. We're just going to make stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of how, when I got involved in Woods, that was kind of the mindset. Watching Sun City Girls, those videos. I don't know if you ever saw those.
No, I don't think I ever saw the videos.
The band Sun City Girls. I mean, I don't know if they were VHS or if they were DVD that we had at the time, but I don't know, just kind of having our minds blown by a lot of different stuff. And at the same time, giving up on the idea of any sort of success or acceptance within cool record labels. So we just had this kind of destructive fuck it attitude of we're just going to record at home whenever we want to and assemble records that we think were cool and without really an audience in mind or anything in mind.
That's amazing. But the music was so melodic. And so, like you said, kind of in that sort of Fleetwood Mac can sort of world of stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
but with the attitude of fuck it, we're going to burn the house down. And then you guys harmonize and it sounds gorgeous. And you're recording these beautifully kind of composed songs.
Yeah. I mean, I think it got to that once after a few years and then I started getting more back into recording. a couple of years, a couple of records that we made in a row where we just home recorded cassette 4-track, laptop, just whatever we had. And then I started getting more interested, like, okay, we could make these sound a little better. Then some ambition started sneaking in.
It's that necessity sort of part of it of like, okay, let's figure out how to do this. You know enough. You went to school for this. You can.
It was like learning all over though. Yeah, I really didn't learn much in school.
So this is where the first lessons happened, was sort of experimenting on yourself in the band.
Pretty much. And I worked in a bar and I was making a lot of cash. So I would just buy used microphones, use preamps and try things out and then resell them if I didn't like them.
That's so cool. We played with you guys at the La Poujon Rouge with Avi's band. Was that Soiled Mattress in the Springs or Soft Flowers? Silk Flowers?
Yeah.
I forget where it was at. But where does that fall into where you guys were at from how soon had the band start? You don't remember that show? Okay, good.
No.
I remember that venue.
It sounds great.
They had the sad aquarium that was like tilted right when you walked in. You're like, why the fuck would you tilt the aquarium? So like the water was like a triangle. There was like less room for the fish to swim around. Do you remember this part? No, it's La Poujon Rouge. It was a weird club in Manhattan somewhere.
Yeah, we played there recently.
Oh, okay. Did they fix the fucking aquarium?
I don't remember that.
I remember. That's the only thing I remember at that time. That's so funny. Yeah. I remember you guys. I think we were a little intimidated by you guys because you guys seemed like cool New Yorkers and we were on tour and it was this, and I don't think we really knew you. I don't know how that came together. It might've been a booking agent-y kind of thing or something. And we were like, okay, but I think Avi knew you guys or it was something. It was recommended.
Yeah.
And
we're fans.
Okay. Yeah. I remember that
we were no age fans.
I remember playing with you guys.
Intimidated by you, but I'm glad you thought we were cool New Yorkers.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely not how we saw ourselves. I'm glad somebody thought. I put in my time, You
deserved it. Yeah. And I think we were kind of bouncing around. I remember that show though, just in the way of like, okay, this is like, don't fuck this up. I think every New York show felt important in those kind of ways. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh shit, like people are going to actually see us here. Not that people wouldn't see in other shows, but the New York shows always felt a little bit more like,
oh, definitely. Like every Woods LA show feels like that to me. Even now that I live in LA.
It's so funny, right? There's those, it's like the ingrained sort of things. Like, okay.
Yeah. I always feel a little outside of it playing in those cities.
Yeah. I think it was always, I think it's just ingrained from those early days of like, you hope those shows go well because then either you're going to make the money for the rest of the tour or it's going to something could happen at these shows. These could could turn into something versus other shows where you just know like nothing's happening. It's like, no, we're not getting signed to a label. We're not going to write about this.
And you actually play really well those nights because you're not worried about some imaginary thing.
Yeah, or doing interviews with somebody before. It's always the New York shows always had the lead up of something for at least at that time. I mean, not now, but there was like okay, so when you get to New York, you're going to talk to these people and you're going to do this. And it's like, we don't just play the fucking show. It was like, no, there's a lot of things to do. And then you got to go to dinner with this person, do the drinks or do the thing. And so is like, oh, there's a lot more to this. Like the show was almost secondary sometimes to all the other stuff that had to get done in New York for business.
Definitely.
Or promotion, or I imagine LA is probably the same for people on that side of stuff too. If you're not from here, I imagine stuff probably gets stacked up.
Yeah. It's just, you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you play those bigger cities, and thinking about it now, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened to me in either of those cities that really changed my life. So
it's so funny.
They did, but not, cause I've only lived in those two places.
I remember that show. I remember personally too. I was trying desperately to get sober around that time, and I was failing at it. I remember it was the kind of thing of like, okay, well, I'm not going to drink before the show, and I remember just like pounding a beer real quick and get on stage. Like I hadn't played a show sober in like years, and I was trying to figure it out with again that feeling around in the dark, not knowing how to do it before really going to like get proper help at that time. So it was like 2010, right? Or 2009. Did you look up the show? I'm just so curious.
I try to look it up. I don't see it.
Okay. It only exists in our minds.
Could it have been somewhere? Could it have been somewhere else?
The Poujon Rouge. No, I remember.
Okay, you remember?
No,
This is a pivotal.
I do remember this. Yeah. And because I remember, I think it was that backstage stuff too. I think I was like really tight and really kind of like, oh, how am I supposed to get on the stage? And then just like downing a beer real quick. And then like, okay. But then feeling guilty and the shame of it. I'm like,
pivotal moment in your life.
A little bit personal. Yeah. But I remember, it was Avi's band and you guys. And I remember feeling a little, I think that's why I felt like intimidated too. Like, you guys are cool. You guys know what you're doing. And kind of that feeling within myself of like, why can't life work out for me? This is like, things are starting to come off the rails for me personally.
We just hadn't addressed our drinking yet. You were a step ahead.
Well, I was a step further down. I was falling down the ladder.
Yeah, we were still in the fog.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. So then how does the recording career develop alongside the musical career? Obviously, Woods is accomplishing things, putting out great records, doing huge tours. And then where does the recording, blossom?
As Woods, like I said, I just got a little bit bored of how lo-fi our albums were. And we're working so much. I was just like, everything should progress, So I don't want to make the same record again. Because there was one record where I made where I felt like it started to get a little repetitive for me. And as I did that, then just friends' bands started asking me if I could record them. So it's really simple. And I think I charged like $100 a song. Oh, because I still kind of didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I was like, come, I'll record 2 songs. Give me $100 each song.
Yeah.
And that was my little thing. And I turned my bedroom in this house that all of Woods lived in into a control room. And then just ran a snake. I Googled and read that Megami was a good snake to get. So I got a 50-foot Megami, the same one that is in my studio now.
That sounds expensive.
And just ran it down the staircase. It's a couple $100. I got it. I found it cheap. I found a guy.
Yeah.
And would just run it down the staircase. And we had a drum set in the living room where we would record and jam and practice. And so I did that. So I recorded a couple real estate songs and a couple, span nods.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Kevin Morby's band, The Babies, him and Cassie from Vivian Girls.
Yeah.
So their first record was recorded there. I had a 388 too. And I think I kept that in the living room. And
that's the big reel-to-reel thing, or the
yes.
3? Yeah. Okay.
It's like a cassette 4-track, but a reel-to-reel.
Yep. Yeah. Our friend Kundo had one of those. We recorded a lot of stuff on that early on.
They're the best. I wish I still had it. Or Jeremy actually has it now, but
good. I keep bugging him. I send him pictures and videos of other people using it. I helped him put it into storage. I'm like, why did you put that in storage? Put that over here. I could use that.
Let's go get that.
I poke him every once in a while. Like, come on, buddy.
But I do remember when recording The Babies, it was the first time I sat at the drum set. And I wasn't the drummer, and just kind of went through the drums and played and just heard how things were resonating in the room. And it was the first time because normally I would just throw up microphones and what I got is what I got. It was the first time I developed the skill of actually listening to the instrument and, making judgments about that and adjustments. And
that's so funny. That was
I did a Vivian Girls album in that house too. And I definitely, just put up mics. There was no conversation about tunings of drums or anything.
Yeah.
Or the floor toms kind of resonating when you hit the snare, those basic things. I was just not there yet.
But you made records. But you were in the bands.
But I still made records,
great.
Yeah. Cool records, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you became the guy.
I think so.
Yeah. People knew you could come to you to make records. That sort of seems to be the thing. When you get that reputation amongst a group or a scene or a collection of musicians. Mm-hmm. We made this record with him. He's good. And then everyone else hears it. Okay, well, let's go do that.
Totally.
That person.
And then after doing that, I noticed people would kind of graduate to working in real studios. So then I realized, I need to maybe graduate too. Yeah. I wanted to,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the dream.
It was still intimidating because I just had this home studio and I knew how it was wired and I knew what he was doing, but I knew I had to grow.
Did you have that kind of imposter syndrome too? Of like, well, like how, like studios, again, that intimidation factor can just be, you know, you go into
Oh, yes, I used to have imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I feel that all the time. It's so funny. Like as much as I know what things are, I like, as soon as someone starts throwing out numbers or letters of microphones or things, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a 609, a 201, a 42. You know, there's a few things that's like I have to really get like hit with it in the face enough times. And then they're like, oh, that's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I hear those numbers coming out of my mouth and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Did I just become the guy who just can spit out numbers?
I'm one of those guys.
Like R2D2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what, I mean, you know, I guess we talk about, you know, production, producers, engineers, you know, if Albini was famously not a producer, he was an engineer. I mean, where do you know, as somebody, you know, who works in that world, like, how do you draw that line, or do you draw that line, or how do you describe it? Or how do you sort of categorize those roles and where you fit?
I mean, they do blur, or they can blur. It depends. Every project's different. Because I've been hired for things where there isn't a producer and I'm just the engineer. Less in the past bunch of years, but where you're definitely suggesting things because there's no one there to play that role. Or, I mean, people in the band are playing that role, but you're the only like outsider who is hearing something and has like a fresh perspective on it. But yeah, and I mean, as a producer, I engineer a lot of things I produce too. So it's kind of always different.
But how do you characterize a producer, I guess, for people who don't know, or if you've gotten this far into this interview and you're still wondering, what does a record producer do? I think we get people like our friends Rick Rubin who kind of turn it into this kind of like guruistic sort of mantra world of like, you're like, what the fuck did you just say? You just spent 10 minutes talking about it. I don't even know I know even less now after listening to that.
Yeah. Was he always like this?
No, I think he used to sell drugs and put on hip hop shows from his dorm room and probably worked on some kind of like shady shakedown thing with Russell Simmons in the 80s. And then figured out after making a bunch of money,
the way he talks about music,
become very Buddhist kind of thing. I don't think he was always like this. No, I think he was somewhere closer to a thug or a hustler, I guess it would be the nicer word.
When he was making a lot of those classic records, he was not
a Buddhist guru
guy.
I
that's my hunch, but I don't know.
I think he
still makes great records.
I think those Beastie Boys, at least the way from what I've read, is he was closer to like a WWE manager, like Jim. You know, like he was telling
some
them,
of those video
clips.
You know,
yeah, like talk about girls, talk about boobs, talk about beers. I think he encouraged that. So I don't think that's a producerial idea, but maybe, you know, I think he sort of helped them and their kayfabe of like, we're a bunch of jocks rather than, you know, rebellious punks that they were. He helped sort of fashion that the jock jam sort of a hip hop world that they became. You know, the fight to your right to party and bringing in, you know, Slade, Kerry King, all that stuff. I think he did have a role in that stuff. So I don't know that necessarily goes into guru world, but you know.
Well, I guess for those who don't know, engineering is just handling all the technical stuff. So making sure a session is going smoothly, everything's being recorded and mic'd the best way it can, you know.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. I'm just making sure nothing's clipping, everything's being captured the best it can. Compression, you can't hear the compression working if there's compression, just all these like little
the cables. If you're not getting a sound out of a microphone, the engineer knows how to fix that.
Yeah, I guess the most basic.
Yeah, the cables work. Yeah, right.
Producing, I think it's like anytime you start to cross that line into the creative process of what the song is or the arrangement is, and then, you know, more heavy-handed of actually picking who's playing on it or help, you know, being really creative in the whole from the get-go of the writing of the song or whatever. So when I produce.
Oh, sorry again. I have a funny question. I almost feel embarrassed about it, but it's better to say it out publicly.
And nobody asks me these questions daily, so some of these answers I might rethink.
It's okay. Yeah, that's good. It's better to do it all while on record, while things are being recorded. An arrangement. I feel like I'm of two minds of the word arrangement. One, I've always feel like it's like the writing of the song, like how many times you play the verse and you go to the bridge and the chorus. I call that an arrangement. But then I also feel like the arrangement is also the instrumentation of what's on the song. Like, we're actually going to give that melody part to the harp, or we're going to play that on this 12 string versus playing it on a regular 6-string guitar, or put it on acoustic. Am I wrong in those two words, or is that the correct arrangement? When you say
I don't know what the
arrangements?
technical
Yeah.
terms are. Maybe I would think of the first one as more just structure.
Structure. Okay.
But I don't know. This is it's like whatever words you use to get the result or communicate.
This more
to someone
songwriting
else.
is maybe that first one, and arrangements more that sort of thing.
Because when you talk about arrangement on just a simple rock song or something, it feels a bit much.
Right. Meaning, because
arrangement
is sort of what instruments play
first
which
chorus,
parts.
verse,
But arrangement would mean like which instruments play which parts, like in a Beach Boys kind of thing. Like we're going to give that to the xylophone player to play.
That seems like more
the piano
proper
player to
use.
play. That's the correct version of arrangement. Okay, I like that. Arranging which instruments play which parts. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like that better. I'll stop calling my songwriting arranging.
No, I mean, I guess when I would just said arranging, maybe I meant all of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you're always kind of winging it. I mean, there are some times you keep saying the oboe is going to do this. It's really rare that I work with an oboe. It's happened, but
you have a keyboard player and you have,
but it might just be as simple as, it might be as simple as like the drums aren't in the second verse or just like more broad stroke kind of ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thinking for me anyway, thinking more just from the gut or a reaction, or maybe there is a reference song that gives you an inspiration.
It's more yelling at the drummer. I like that. Well, that's what we'll call arranging. telling the drummer to stop. Stop playing so much. Play less. No, except on that play more. Play harder. Play softer.
Unfortunately, it is a part of the
of having a caveman in your studio. You have to treat them like such. That's a drummer joke.
But they just have so much. Their instrument is so many little instruments. So
it's true.
Yeah, you end up talking to them a lot about it. Yeah. Sometimes, some of them.
Yeah. And they hit things for a living. They hit things with sticks for a living. So, it's not a complicated life.
What are you saying?
I'm giving drummers a hard time. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get us in trouble with all the drummers of the world. Okay. Well, so there's a million other things we could ask. I've kept you for over the hour. At this point, I'm just wasting your time.
I mean, I'm okay with talking if you want to cut things up, if you need to, or we can cut it.
Yeah. No, well, I'd like to, what's the best way for people to follow you and to find out more? And if they want to work with you, that's probably, we can get to that part of it.
Oh, you can find me on the Instagram, Jarvis Taveniere. Come see Woods on tour in May and throughout the year.
Awesome. And is there a website for you for your specific producing stuff that people can go to?
JarvisTaveniere.com.
There we go. Okay, I'll put links to all of those in the show description down below. Awesome, Jarvis. Thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate it. Sorry, I know
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
More chopping it up than professional, but there's enough professional conversations out there. It's more fun to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me.
No, I mean,
if you think something listenable happened, I'll trust you.
I think
I will never listen to it.
That's the best part about doing these things is we don't have to listen back to them. We'll never know how this turned out.
But editing is great.
Yep.
We enjoy editing for music making.
I edit
arranging.
Yeah. I was trying to figure do you with like the ums and pops and clicks and stuff? Do you do that on vocals? Do you like get all the mouth feels out of stuff?
If it's really bothering me, I think sometimes a little bit of that stuff is kind of nice and draws you in.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it takes you out.
Especially when you're doubling, tripling, quadrupling, if they're all happening at different times, that's where it really needs to not be there.
I was just dealing with that yesterday with a lead vocal that sounded really good, double tracked. It was really wispy, but the wisps were off in a few moments, and it just sounded insane.
Yeah, I've lined up lisp things too, just to make sure if they're going to happen, if that T is going to pop, or if that these things are going to happen, I'll at least want them all to happen at the same time. Even if it's not in time, I don't want them all happening disparate, because then it feels like it ruins that illusion of the voice being one voice.
Yeah, the illusion. I mean, that's what kind of like a lot of times when I think about record making, it's like protecting an illusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that reverb that's there that you don't hear, but it's on everything. It's just kind of, it's the air in the room that wasn't really there. But
or just anything that really takes you out of it in a bad way. I mean, because sometimes there's a thing like the Search and Destroy solo being like so loud in the Stooges or something where it takes you, maybe it doesn't take you out of it, but you know what I mean?
No, well, you hear it. Yeah, I feel like Bad Brains are great with that too. I feel on like Band in DC and things, it's just like, that's way too loud. And if it's a record you like, or if it's a solo you like, or if it's a thing that you've grown up with, and then you come to find, then you use your older producing engineering years later, like, that is absurd. I would never put it that loud. But then you listen to it and you're like, that sounds great. And again, I guess that's what those refs are for. Sometimes you go, oh, okay, cool. Are we doing that? Or like, how far are we going to go with this?
Totally. It's exciting to use those as inspirations, because it's really easy with infinite recalls for mixes and endless mix notes to really just tame everything and just really like sand off all the edges. And you just kind of miss those moments.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love going back. This is inside baseball. Are you a fan of save ases? Do you do a save as in your digital world?
Of course. Why? Yeah. What else is there?
I don't know. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I love a save as, because I feel like now we can get weird. It's always here's the safe one, and let's get weird. And then I usually
like in Pro Tools, save as and make a new version.
Yeah. Okay. No. Okay.
Oh, definitely.
I'm just gonna do a save as real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just delete that entire second verse, and then I'm gonna flip the ending outro. I'm just gonna go ahead and reverse that and put that on the front now. Now that's an intro, and now we're gonna do all those backing vocals backwards, and we're going to place them in over here. We're going to create a middle 8 out of nothing. There's somebody touched.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Yeah. If I'm unsatisfied with, you've put in a lot of work, but there's something that's just not working for you, or the artist likes it, but I'm like, I think there's something else. And sometimes it's just, I do the save as and just do a version and label it, whatever the inspiration is, and I'm trying to take this other direction. And a lot of times I do that. It's almost just an exercise to learn one thing, like, oh, the backup vocals could be wetter or cranked or maybe you just, the whole thing doesn't get used, but yeah.
But yeah,
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that kind of way of working. I've talked to other people, and they've said, no, the mix is the mix. If you want to try something, you got to try it and then live with the consequences. That's the process. You're only on one road. And I don't always agree with that, but I respect it. I think I find myself sometimes being like, should I just commit? Can I just get, especially when I'm working on stuff of my own, stuff if I'm self-recording, am I being too gentle with myself by doing so many save ases, and why am I saving the crap version?
Yeah.
Because you never know if it's going to get better.
I do it.
I feel like it's a safety thing.
Yeah. I would do it maybe on one song, an album.
Okay.
Or just what if an alternate universe version of this song.
Oh, I see. I mean, I'll do 4 in just a day of mixing. I'll do 4 different.
Oh, no. I cannot do that.
Okay.
Just for my brain, I need things pretty organized and moving forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Towards something. Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of it, because I do think of it as, I think it takes the pressure off. Maybe I do this to take the pressure off, is to think of it as it's just a snapshot. It's just a mix of a song. It's just a performance of this song.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a better mix that'll happen years from now for the box set, or maybe they'll do a new version, whatever. But just, is this the best version of what we did on that day on this mix? You know, and not to say you don't work hard on it, but you are just kind of accepting, like, this is just I'm just the mixer on this, or I'm just the bass player on this, whatever. Like, we're just working towards a thing. So I do like that. My brain would explode.
Like, I usually never go back. Is usually what it is, honestly. Yeah, I think I use it in that snapshotty way, sort of way. And hard drive space is cheap. And if it buys me, I think I get braver knowing that I have a version of it. I have that snapshot. Are braver or more experimental or more bold?
Definitely more experimental.
I think I find I enjoy myself in that position where it's all things are an option. All rules are out the window. I enjoy that, at least with my own projects. Do you have trouble picking out which is the final then, or? No, usually the last thing is the final. You know what I mean? I'm usually, not to pat myself on the back, but usually it's like, even if I'm making a mistake, it'll figure it's more interesting. It's a more interesting mistake than the boring first version. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay,
yeah,
like, it's weirder.
So you're not going back and having all these different options. Yeah. Okay. Then I feel like they
exist, but I get, again, save as.
You're moving forward.
Yeah. The name of the song, 1.9 is fine. I don't mind working on, 1.9 or whatever version of it, or 5.6, or as usual, I'll call, if it's like, if there's something like the version of it, it's like, that's fine. That's fine. I don't care. It's only me that sees that happening. I think if I was working with a client, I might not be as experimental or as weird, but I guess I work on a lot of my own stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I print everything through analog, and then I'm printing back in. Mm-hmm. So things are always kind of changing, and every revision, not drastically different, but
do you find,
I'm not afraid to make major tweaks within the original mix,
I love it. I think as someone that mixes as well as produces and engineers, like, how much of the mix are you hearing as you're tracking? Meaning, if you're tracking a guitar and there's more low end on there, are you doing a high pass as it comes in, or are you just knowing, like, I'm going to roll off all that low end later in the mix? Like, how long? How we pre-do it? We pre-mix?
I try to take care of it up.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. I like it to just sound like a record as soon as possible.
So as it comes in.
So anything I can do. Yeah. As those takes are happening, I like to think about what the mix is going to be. Or just have a vision of what the finished song is in your head. Mm-hmm. And you're just working towards that, even if you deviate. So yeah, I try to deal with that. Mics with roll-offs on them, or just, using a smaller amp that doesn't have that low end, or if I really don't think the track needs it. So just making those, like, little, as I was saying earlier, those little small decisions that just add up.
Yep.
Like, that guitar amp doesn't have a lot of low end.
And because you're not going to need it, the low end. That's what you have a bass player
won't need it.
Yeah,
and the mic maybe has a little slight cut on it, right? These have a low cut.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense to do it that way. I feel like I think the majority of the stuff I'm recording is usually myself or my band or something, what I mean, where I know I can see the whole process, and I get impatient. I think of that ADHD sort of thing of it all, of like, let's just go. Because I'm usually writing as I'm recording as well. I guess I do a lot of that kind of sketching demo pad sort of stuff. So I'll just plug a guitar straight into the Apollo and just take it like that. And then go, okay. And then once it's good, like, oh, okay, cool. Here's the roll off. Here's all these, and then I'll shape it like, okay, but I just want I guess that's part of my, like, not being afraid to be bad sort of thing of just, just record it. And that's a terrible guitar tone. That'll never be heard by anybody. I know that, but I had the idea and I wanted, or I just was like, if I don't jump on this now,
You're talking about getting it down as a sketch.
Yeah. And more often than
I'll
not,
do that.
Those will come out in some form, but but you need it out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll do that, but I still think in those terms of, if I'm doing a direct guitar or something, and yeah, maybe there's maybe there's more low end or whatever. I don't know, but I am thinking in terms of what I'm playing and what's coming out of the speaker. So I'm playing something that just kind of fits. So it's just coming back at me closer to a mix, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. I feel like that's
probably how everyone works, but you know.
Is this your gentle? Yeah. I'm saying I'm doing it. I'm definitely doing it wrong. I think I don't mind.
No, I mean,
I love a good EQ after the fact. I think especially doing these kind of layeredy shoegazy things, like I'll record a full line signal and then I just but full well knowing like, oh, all of that stuff is just going to get scooped out. And I just do those quick, high pass, low pass things and just really like, I'll, situate them in there afterwards and not be afraid of like, is that the right pedal? Is that the right preamp? Is that even the right guitar I'm on? It's like, I'm just playing. I'm going to play it real quick. And then after I get 6 or 7 guitars in, then I'll start to shape and pan and send to aux verbs and things.
Cool.
So do okay, cool. But if anyone were to listen to me as I'm doing it, like, you fucking idiot, what are you doing? That all sounds like mud. It's like, well, in my head, I'm like, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it as it's going to be done. Like I know all of that will get out of there. I don't know. But again, it's me. I think if I had to do that in front of someone else, I probably would spend the extra 5 minutes.
You have to send people away when you do that. You're like, it's going to be cool, but you gotta maybe leave me alone.
What's funny is people, I don't have to send it. Nobody wants to be there when I'm doing it. So I've gotten used to doing it by myself because no one will be in the room with me. No one wants to be in the room with me while I'm doing 17 takes of feedback guitars that then I mix down.
Yeah. I just like to track everything as close to what I want it to be or what I think I want it to be.
That makes sense.
As possible.
Yeah. That's the smarter way of doing it.
So the mixing isn't this like big mysterious thing. Like what's the mix going to sound like?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, it would just be like a better version.
It's what's here, but better. Yeah. I think,
yeah. Cause you want to just like make decisions based on like what's already happening, which
yes,
not the
secret map that you only have in your head. And
there's always room for that stuff to happen,
Mm-hmm. I think we've identified why you are a great professional producer who works with great bands and why I make weird noise records that no one hears.
Hey, awesome. Stop that talk.
No. It's good. It's good. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Jarvis. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking through. I feel like this was a therapy session for me.
Me too. How do we feel?
Are we good?
You do good? Too much blabbering about indie rock in the old days?
No, I think it's more. Oh, speaking of which, while we still have you on mic here, this will be for all the people who've lasted this long. I have found based on available records, the No Age Woods live show at Le Poujon Rouge in New York City occurred on October 14th, 2009. While not in 2010, I thought it was 2010. This is what Google AI says. This notable pairing was highlighted by LPR's music director as one of their top shows featuring the indie punk duo and psychedelic folk band. Thanks. Yeah, it's October 14th, 2009. And that sounds good. And the other shows from that period include performances by other indie acts at the venue, such as Fortet and Lightning Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. Yeah, October 14th,
2009.
Yeah.
So what was going on in that year? We still had Lucas on cassettes, Morby on bass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morby was just like Baby, though, right? I mean, literally, he was in Babies, but he was probably
baby-faced
20-year-old Morby.
Yeah, I think when he joined, he was 20-ish.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Look at him now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I could live with that too. Yeah. So just before Halloween, I think we played another show I think we did like 3 or 4 shows in that 2009 run, right around there. Cause we played a sponsored skate retrospective show for Patrick O'Dell at the MoMA. He was doing his Epically Latered show. And I think we were like,
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Somewhere around there. And I bought an inflatable skeleton and kind of like duct taped it to the amps. That seemed because it was kind of Halloween-y. And then we did a live soundtrack to The Bear, that 80s movie. Did you ever see that? It was like a French kind of nature thing. It was like, in the 80s where this French director just filmed bears and created a narrative around it. Where it's like a mama bear and a baby bear, and the baby bear eats like mushrooms and has this like claymation psychedelic like thing, and they're
Sounds
being
great.
hunted by hunters, and there's no words in it. So I found this. Found this thing, and yeah, we played that at the new school. We did a.
See, you guys were the cool band. You're playing fucking museums to psychedelic movies about bears, and you're playing like skate exhibits.
Yeah, but I don't remember being cool though. It's funny. All of that time, I remember just like 2009. Yeah, I remember just smoking and sweating and really trying to feeling nervous about all of it. I remember calling my aunt and she'd be like, "Are you going to marry this girl?" Like, no, I'm not marrying anybody. I don't know what I'm doing.
Smoking, like, you're sweating, you're in New York City.
Yeah.
Like, what's cooler than that?
You're right. Now,
being a mess is cool.
Now in my 40s and with two children and who, you know, and I do dad pick up and drop offs in my sensible loafers. You're right. Being sweaty and scared and confused in New York City. And
it's like the coolest you can be.
28 years old. That was probably much cooler. But at the time, it definitely felt confused and scared. And then doing these cool things, I suppose. But again, but isn't that funny? That's how life is. You don't know it. You don't know it's cool while it's happening. You're just like in it.
No,
anybody else. Yeah, that's a good lesson for anyone out there. If you think people are cool, just know they probably don't think of themselves as cool. That's the coolest way of being cool. It's to be sweaty and scared.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I ever thought of people as being cool in a way of like, they're cool and they think they're cool. I was just like, I think they're cool.
I think Thurston Moore.
That LA band that plays in museums, they're cool.
That's the band I wanted to be in. But that was you know what I mean? It was a funny moment of life, you know, I think and I'm sure this has happened and you know, where it's like, I want to be in this band and then you get and then it happens. And you're like, oh shit, this is actually happening. Can we pull this off?
Yeah.
And then it becomes like, it's almost like someone calls your bluff. Like, all right, museum boys, let's see what let's see what you do with this and go, oh, they told us to turn down. I missed the change. Oh God, is that Spike Jones over there? Oh God, I'm not. Oh geez.
These are all real things that happen to you, aren't they?
Of course. Yeah. And then you're loading the car and the guy's yelling at you to you can't park there. You know, load the car out and you remember that and you've, you know, again, yeah, it's all the dumb stuff you know about doing. Oh, fun. Okay. All right, Jarvis. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll let you go now.
Thank you. This was really fun.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Later, man.
Bye. What a fun interview that was. Jarvis, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting the channel and the podcast. And go find more about Jarvis at his website, jarvistaveniere.com. That's JarvisTaveniere. You can also find him on the Instagram, Jarvis_Taveniere, as well as his X at Jarvis Taveniere. And thank you to Heal Microphones. Go find them at healsound.com and check out what they got. They got a lot of cool mics like the one I am talking into now. And hang in there. Be well, do good things, support your DIY artists and community members. Go set up some shows, go play some shows. Hit me up, hyphenate@gmail.com or on my Instagram at Randy S. Randall. And let me know what you're up to, what kind of microphones you're using, what kind of music you're making. Hit me up. I want to hear it. All right. See everybody on Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye.
And then as I got into Neil Young and realized, I'm like, wait, this guy's using these same songs, but there's magic. And some of them he wrote when he was 20 or whatever, the same age that these guys are, but these guys aren't magic, or these women. Some of them were. There were a couple that were magic.